What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Excuse me, I'm here with the Power Book 2 Season 1 Episode 1 review. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Everybody be sure to like, comment, share. Before I get into the review, I know I'm not the only one thinking this about this show, but it just feels like, and like I said, I'm gonna give it a chance. But it don't feel like a grown-up show. Like Tariq in college, and that ain't the type of college I went to wearing uniform, so I can't really relate to it type stuff. But nevertheless, I'm gonna give the show a try because this episode was pretty decent, but it just didn't, because Tariq ain't from the pavement, so I guess his story or his climb to the top got to be a little different. But anyways, here it is. So the show picks up supposedly 24 hours after Ghost's murder. And the show comes on. Tariq receives a message from David Stern telling him he got to meet, he has a meeting with the dean, etc., etc. He goes and meets with David Stern and the dean. Her name is Ida. I don't know her last name. And long story short, Tariq's admission process or acceptance process, whatever, is all pretty much determined on him making sure this basketball star named Ezekiel Cross passes his classes. And basically, if Zeke doesn't pass, Tariq don't get to go to class. So that's pretty much that. But anywho, so anyways, excuse me, moving on from there, whatever the prison guard name, I think it's Melody or some junk like that. But anywho, she's taking Tasha to go appear in court or whatever. And while she's taking her, she just looked at Tasha and she was just like, you got these pretty nails. You ain't gonna be able to make it in here. Like, I done seen too many girls come and go lie about murdering this and murdering that. You not gonna make it. And she said, I'll see you when you get back, B. And so, I'm gonna just throw this out there now, because like I say, this was kind of a feel out period for me with the show, and probably is for you guys as well. I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and she brought up an interesting fact that I kind of, it was hard to argue. Is Tasha going to be the next Kanan? And what what's we meant by that is mainly, is she gonna do a bid and then come home and take over, or at least try to, anywho, right? Because we cannot forget, although Tasha was in the jail crying and all of this type of stuff, she's from the pavement. Tasha from the pavement. She from the streets. Not only is she for the streets, belong to the streets, she from the streets. So Tasha could do the time. I just think it's an adjustment period because she's been living, a lifestyle, and now she in there. So that's the question of the day. Is Tasha going to be the next Kanan? We'll get more into it later on. So anywho, Tariq shows up outside of the courthouse. His grandmother and Yaz is there. Anywho, we have got to get Grandma and Yaz off the show right now. Let's not even do that. Let's not even entertain it. She already got on our nerves telling Tariq, come live with her. If he needs somebody to talk to, it'll be her, and all of this and all of that. We don't have time for that. Just get her off the show right now. So anyways, moving on, we find out that Tamika is Tasha's lawyer, which was weird for me, but nevertheless, she's Tasha's lawyer. And basically, she tells Tasha that in order to win this case, or for her to get off, we're going to have to say some egregious things about your husband in front of your children, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they went to court. And obviously, Tamika was arguing Ghost was abusive. James was this and James was that. And Tasha was loving it. You know what I'm saying? She was loving it. And I was just kind of like, I mean, do you really, Yaz don't really know, you know what I'm saying, ghosts. So like, maybe it's a good idea to keep your daughter away from this if you're going to let your attorney dog, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I get it's a tough situation, but it is what it is. So, anywho, the judge tells the prosecutor, Jenny, something to basically, you know, she might want to think about meeting with her boss and lessening the charges. But at the end of the day, Tasha did not get bail. So she had to go take her ass right back up in the, in the jail. So anywho, Jenny, her last name is Sullivan. Sullivan, she goes and have a meeting with Tamika. She tells Tamika that she gonna recommend Man 2, and Tasha do 5 years. And Tamika pulls out all these pictures of alleged women, ghosts, James St. Patrick is murdered, and tell her that, you know, they gonna argue that her client was next, etc., etc. So this is the whole plan for Tamika getting Tasha out. But let me just kill the Tamika storyline. So moving on, further down the line, Tamika comes back. I guess Sullivan gives Tamika a deal. Basically, they have confirmed that Tasha is not the killer. That it was somebody between 5'8" and 5'6" and 5'11", or 5'8" and 5'11". All she has to do is tell the truth about who really did shoot Ghost, and she'll be good to go. And so Tasha did not like this deal at all. So Tasha fired Tamika, which absolutely positively made 0 sense. So then that led Tasha dumbass, because Tasha obviously is not as smart as some of y'all assumed that she was, because not only did she fire Tamika, when Tamika had reached out to Tariq and told Tariq what it was about her mama to tell the truth, and not only did she fire Tamika, but she didn't even think to call Tariq or her mama or whoever it is she got in her pocket to help her find another attorney. She was gonna roll with a DA. I mean, not a DA, but not a DA. Lord have mercy. What they call the bad lawyers who always overwork, so they just be making deals. A public defender. She was gonna roll with a public defender. And I'm just sitting there saying to myself, Tasha, you gotta be one dumb. You dumb. You're dumb. So that pretty much led us to get introduced to Method Man, because after the bail hearing, Tariq sees Method Man. His character name is Davis McClain, and he's supposed to be his hotshot lawyer. So Tariq is set out to get him as Tasha's attorney, because apparently he's the best. So he told Tariq his fee is $500,000. So Tariq did what he had to do. He came up with $50,000. That was for the week, and so that's just a down payment. So anyways, while we on that subject of Davis McClain, so Tariq kind of forced his hand. He went into his roommate Ezekiel, or Zeke, we're gonna call him Zeke, got on his IG and pretty much thanked Davis before he even had a conversation to pay this man $1 of his money about representing his mother. And so it kind of forced Davis' hand, and so that's kind of how the situation got going. So then in the end of the episode with the whole Tasha situation, they basically dropped the charges, because earlier in the show, Marks had came to Sachs along with people from the Democratic Party, basically telling Sachs, you need to make sure that details about James St. Patrick's personal life does not come out. And so in order to do that, because it's not a federal case, it's a state case, they wanted him to charge Tasha under the kingpin status. That way, I believe the kingpin status is no jury. It's just kind of like the defendant, the defendant attorney, prosecuting attorney, and the judge, and all of that. But basically trying to say that Tasha St. Patrick was the ringleader of James St. Patrick, aka Ghost organization. And so, like I said, they dropped the charges and charged her with that. And Davis McClain it's like, what in the hell is going on? Like, you need to talk. You need to start talking to me, because obviously I am the lawyer that can get you off without the truth, but you need to be telling me the truth at this point. So that's pretty much Tasha's storyline for this episode. So anywho, we get introduced to Zeke's family, which is probably going to be the entertainment of this episode of this TV show. He takes Tariq to a party that they are throwing for him, a congratulation party. Mary J. Blige plays the character as Auntie Monet. She is, she obviously is Ghost. I'm gonna assume that she's Ghost. She's Ghost. So, and I forget her husband name, Lorenzo something, I don't know, but he's in the pen for life. Tariq ended up looking him up at the end of the episode, but he was a mob leader or something like that. It is what it is. But then we meet her 3 children. We meet Kane. Kane was in the bathroom getting some head, and he also killed Rail this episode because Rail was mad because his girlfriend was over there and all of this. Like, bro, you fighting for a hoe, you got to be... Yeah, I'm not losing my life over no hoe. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Then we get introduced to Drew. Drew seemed like he's laid back and cool. We don't really know yet. Then we get introduced to Diana. Obviously, her and Tariq. That's going to be one of his love interests. As long as the other young lady, Lauren, who goes to school with him, as long as the girl who they forgot to even mention when he got kicked out of the first private school, Effie. So Tariq just gonna be having all type of sex now that he in college. I can just see 50 Cent making sure that he get enough sex scenes in this show. So anywho, at the party, like I say, Rail comes up, the girl that was sucking Kane in the bathroom, Shaquisha. He came up, Kane beat him up. He come back with a gun. Police come. It seems as though Monet got the police in her pocket. At the end of the episode, they end up killing him. And while they was there, like I say, Tariq and Diana is obviously going to be a love interest. So that should be, I guess, somewhat entertaining. I guess. I don't know. I just need Tariq to really get in these streets. Yeah. So anywho, moving on. Back at school, Tariq, his white friend from one of his old schools, I do not know that boy name. It's not important. He pops up, and Tariq is trying to get enrolled in canonical studies or something like that. It's basically a fast track to graduation because y'all know his inheritance money is tied up. So his advisor / mentor. So Tariq gets Professor Milgram to set up a panel with Jabari and Professor Oliver to see if he read this book that seems to be about him in so many different ways. The first time he didn't read the whole book, he came true. They forgave him and gave him another shot. The second time he came all the way through. And Professor Milgram, she sent Lauren to talk to Tariq to make sure he was prepared, and so they came up with a great plan. So anyway, while we talking about Tariq, he goes through Tasha's stuff looking for the lady who was always late picking up her daughter from daycare because she's a script branch. He goes to her and wants her to push his product through the strip club, and she tells him as long as he comes with his own supply. So he hits up Effie, the girl who got him kicked out of school, and somehow or another he just take the drugs without paying her. And like she said, it was a business decision, but she really did like him. So yeah, that was that. We also find out this episode that Sax is possibly a transgender. I'm kind of confused as to how that even popped up, but okay, that's fine. Last but not least, Sax goes around trying to meet with different attorneys. He goes and meet with Jennifer Sullivan about the case. She gives him no information. He goes to Tamika trying to get some information. She gives him none and tells him that she can't. Sax is just dirty. He's just dirty. Maybe because he got 2 different identities. He can be Sax, and then they charge Sax. He can turn back into Nancy and not have to worry about going to prison or anything. Maybe that's his plan and why he's so doggone dirty and don't do anything by the books. And last but not least, he goes to Tariq and tells Tariq, like, we know Andre Coleman didn't kill your daddy. You told us that, and your mama told us that. So whoever killed him, your mama need to come clean so she can get out, unless it's just gonna be a terrible situation. And so it did turn into a terrible situation because Tasha dumbass gonna try to blame the murder of James St. Patrick on Tommy Egan. Nobody was believing that. Tasha was so wrong for that. Like, it was just so crazy. Like, it didn't make any sense that this girl gonna put Tommy name in it. But if I'm not mistaken, like I say, it has a strong chance to be decent. So we'll see. But like, if I missed anything that y'all thought was important, like I said, this the first time reviewing this episode. Gotta get familiar with the characters. I ain't like these other YouTubers out here be doing research and all this. I just watch the show as it come on. But nevertheless, leave me a comment. Let me know if y'all thought about the episode. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I'll holler at y'all good folks later. Peace.